Hi there, Damon Owens here, and I want to talk today about 5 practical tips for maintaining healthy relationships, plus how to avoid the inevitable hazards of every personal relationship, particularly romantic ones, and hazards in the sense of like golf. I'm not even a golfer, but golf, where you've got the divots and you've got the berms and the lakes and the alligators if you're in Florida. Hazards, that's part of the game, if you will, part of the realities of relationships. So that's where we're going to go. Number 1, grow in friendship. You want to nurture a genuine curiosity about each other. This is true whether you're preparing for marriage, meeting somebody new, you're in marriage for decades, there's something about maintaining and nurturing this curiosity about the other person, right? They're unique and unrepeatable. You've never met another one like them, or another one exactly like them, and you are unique and unrepeatable. So you have this encounter that constantly we have to remind ourselves to get out of categories and to see this person as this unique other with all the good, the bad, the ugly, the flaws, the strengths, just the uniqueness of who they are. And maintaining that wonder with who they are is a key to not only the beginning of the relationship, but it will serve you throughout years and years of marriage if it comes to that. But even that marriage needs to be understood as a special type of friendship. So we're still talking about the same exchange of persons. And that practical first step here of growing in friendship is about really wondering, who are you? Who do you want to become? Where do you come from? Who do you belong to? And these can be questions. This can be the way that you receive them and the way that they act, the way that they discuss things that they're interested in, but being particularly attentive to this person as a wonder and a fascination. That's a skill as much as it is a state of mind. So you're growing in friendship. That's the first key. You're not just looking for a particular other and forever love, which is beautiful and it may come. But whether it comes or not, when you move through this reality of friendship, through this lens of friendship, then this is one more person that your encounter with them is a gift to you and a gift to them. Number 2, give love time. You don't want to rush it, but you also don't want to drag it. And I don't know your personality, your temperament, your experience, your other relationships, but there's this moving, this adjusting that happens. Sometimes we move too quickly and we don't give love the time that it needs, the air that it breathes in order to become what it is. And sometimes we're moving so slowly that it's almost a resistance to being open to the other. Now, this isn't you're going to get this and be perfect. Giving love time is this constant adjustment. It's a constant attentiveness to this relationship with this other that involves clearly both of you, but it's almost its own living being. It's almost its own thing that together you're creating. And because it's never been created before, we need to be gentle and merciful with each other and with ourselves, that what we're building and what you're building is new, but it still requires this attention that is, sometimes you need to put more time in, sometimes you need to give a little bit of space, but there's something about the law of love and the choice to put the time in, to be attentive, to be present, to prioritize, to look at all the things that are happening in our lives, but to make the decision about where this relationship with this person really lays out in the busyness of our own lives. We define intimacy as healthy vulnerability, that healthy openness to receive and give the other one. Intimacy has these levels that must be honored. It's almost like a gate system. It's like you can't get to another level until you've successfully moved through earlier ones. So giving love time gives yourself sort of this peace and this permission to always be beginners, but to be attentive in moving from one authentic level of intimacy with another. And what is intimacy but healthy vulnerability? Being vulnerable to one another, not in a weak sense. That's not what vulnerability means. It means in that courageous openness to receive another, to see another, but mostly to allow ourselves to be seen. And you've probably had relationships where you're moving too fast and things get, too fast and too much. You need to back off. Sometimes they're too slow and you're wondering, what are we doing here? So it's not about being perfect again, but it's about moving through and being attentive to where you are in that relationship. You got to give love time. Number 3, honor boundaries, right? The boundaries of a river are what make it a river. Without those boundaries, it becomes a swamp. The same amount of water, just sort of stagnant and sitting there. But a river with all the life and the depth is precisely the fruit of the boundaries that are there. And what does that mean? That could be the amount of time that you spend together or where you spend the time. It could be the places that you meet, the activities that you do. Being attentive to the state of the relationship, to what is resonating, what is good to that other person and good to you. Being attentive to intimacy. As I said earlier in the questions and the point about giving love time, boundaries actually help the relationship flourish. I remember when I was building a fire pit in the back of my house, and I wanted like this big fire pit, but it turned out the smaller one with the clear sort of bricks around and stones around the outside gave the cleanest fire. So just another example about that, right? So we need the boundaries in the relationship so that we know both morally, but also more importantly, just human in terms of relationship, that love has laws. And these laws have to be honored and have to be respected and to be revered. And one or both of you need to be attentive that setting these boundaries is not limiting your relationship. It actually is setting it free. It's allowing that freedom and that peace to be open and to be vulnerable. So be the first to set boundaries, but also be the first to acknowledge, that they need to grow as the relationship grows itself. Number 4, be yourself. Really, be yourself. You're unique and unrepeatable. There's something about you that the world has never seen. In fact, there's you that has never been seen and known before. Allow yourself to be loved as you are, but allow this relationship to be this means, this ability to become what you are. What do I mean? In and through every friendship and person we meet, we're becoming more of ourselves. We practice virtues. We get to see our vices and our things and how they affect other people. We get a chance to practice old virtues and to learn new ones. These virtues, these habits that are most human in relating with other people. Practical things. Be on time. Set times and be reliable, be dependable, be trustworthy in your word, be honest, right? And these are things that sometimes can cause conflict. It can make you uncomfortable. It can make other people uncomfortable. But that honesty isn't necessarily just spouting everything that comes out, but you're known that you're someone who, when you ask a question, you'll speak the truth, but you'll speak the truth in love. And whether that's a virtue to work on or whether it's a virtue that you have, being yourself is being authentic to where you are and becoming the man or woman that God created you to be. This relationship is going to be full of emotions. So feel those emotions. Don't repress or deny them, but also in the emotion, will the good. Will the good for this other. Will the good for yourself while you're still feeling your emotions. And the final word on this be yourself is learn your love language. Learn what really makes you feel loved and be willing to express that and to give your partner the opportunity to love you in a way that resonates with you. But first and foremost, learn your partner's love language. Is it gifts? Is it time? Is it physical touch? Learning that love language, and you can find the quizzes online, is a great way of expressing not only your willingness to love them, but also your openness to be loved as you are. And number 5, welcome conflict. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Conflict is not a failure in the relationship. It can feel that way, especially depending on your family of origin, depending on your conflict style, right? Or your attachment style. If you don't know what those are, look those up. They're very powerful understanding those. Maybe we'll talk about that in another episode. But conflict is not a sign of failure. It actually is an opportunity to grow. And that's not just a word game. It's not just a head game. Working with couples married a long time, couples, together for a long time. Learning conflict and with the gift that it can be. It's painful, it's uncomfortable, and you discover so much about yourself and your beloved. But there's still a posture here that's the first practical. Welcome the conflict. Don't resist it. Don't go looking for it. It will come for you. But the conflict that happens in a relationship, almost expect it like a childlike curiosity. Like, wow, I didn't know how that upset you. I didn't realize how much that would upset me. Let's talk about that. And that ability to enter into that dialogue is going to be a great discovery period. But it always begins this posture of welcoming the conflict. Again, not looking at it as catastrophe, like your relationship is failing, and certainly not looking for it like it's going to be, some magic balm, but it's inevitable. It's the inevitable conflict in relationship. But when you're able to welcome it, you're able to communicate to your beloved that it's not about the conflict, it's about the person. And that we can take the conflict almost to the side and say, okay, we're conflicting about this, but I can take care of you in this. There's this thing called caretaking in conflict. Example would be Melanie and I are arguing about something and I'm heated, but not so overheated that I can't converse with her, I can't love her. And I say, you know what, Melanie, I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to go get something. Can I get you something to drink? I mean, think about that. That's not how I grew up. But that's a skill in the relationship that you learn, that conflict can be this place of discovery as long as we're caretaking in that conflict. So number one, grow in friendship. Give love time. Honor the boundaries. Be yourself and welcome conflict. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. Look forward to talking to you soon.